Some words. Could have been some words.
Life is
This is the Grow Business Podcast with Cory Mosley. I noticed we went all water today. Well, drinking water.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, sometimes there's other things.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Or maybe that's me.
Well,
now you've had coffee sometimes.
What I've had is not clear cups.
What are you not claiming? Is that say the Braves on it?
It does say the Braves on it.
Oh, okay.
It's baseball season, bro.
Is it? Yeah. Well, I'm keep that turned the other way. How are they playing? They're
doing well.
Are they?
Yeah, they're playing really well.
Oh, really well.
Yeah.
Oh,
really
go
well.
Braves. All right.
Go Braves. That's right.
Well, listen. I can tell you, for a long time, was a Braves fan.
That's right.
So,
well, they're not the Chiefs; they're the Braves.
No, I understand.
So
I understand.
Next best.
We're in a different sport.
So, okay.
But as long as they're winning, I'm with them.
We're
now,
winning.
who won the thing? The thing. What is it called? What is it called in baseball?
The World Series.
Yeah, but the pennant.
Right. Well, there's the pennant is winning your division.
Oh, okay.
And then the World Series.
And then the World Series is the World Series.
The
World Series. And who won last year?
Wow.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I put you on the spot there. You didn't know.
You did, and I have to think about it.
You don't know who won the World Series last year? Willie H., do you know who won the World Series? He's Googling it now. like any good researcher.
I don't think it was Houston.
Wow. What kind of baseball fan are you?
That's history, Cory.
Because it was last year?
Right.
Oh, well, I need somebody to tell me who my favorite team is. Who? That's how we determine that. Okay, I think we're recording. Well, listen.
Who won?
I don't know. Well, what's the answer, Willie H? Just say it out loud. Don't type it to me. I don't have time to look at that. Yo, you still don't know the answer? Okay, nobody knows the answer. All right, well, somebody won. Texas Rangers.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if I'm claiming them, but congratulations last year on the Texas Rangers. Well,
that's right.
If you're just tuning in and have no idea where you have stumbled upon, if you just said, oh, this podcast looks interesting, you are in the right place. This is the Grow Business Podcast. That's right. I think, okay, there we go. I like that. That's the
good
new.
One. Yeah.
Now, before I go any further, I'm Cory Mosley, your host. And I'm joined by none other than the man, the myth, the legend, LG007. Lon Graham is here. Voice of Reason. Also known as Voice of Reason. Yes. And so I stay out of trouble. Welcome back.
It's good to be back.
I mean, I didn't know that I have to do that because you were off a week. But I was instructed...
Thank you.
By thou that shall remain nameless 5 times. Make sure you welcome him back. Make sure you welcome him back. I don't know that people. I don't know that people missed you just in a week. Now I can see if you were gone a month,
right?
But I mean, folks. So shout out to who that made me do that. I did it. I hope you are happy now. Yay. Also hitting the buttons, joined by none other than he's in the building, back ready to rock and roll. Willie H is here. Hit the buttons, William. That's right. He is here to hit buttons. I've instructed him no less than 12
He's got to count. He's got a list.
Yeah.
He's got to count.
No less than 12 find 12 opportunities, even if they're back to back, to hit those buttons. We're going to keep him sharp. We're going to keep him on his toes over there because, he'll go off in the la-la land.
Right.
And I said, it was a great opportunity to hit a button.
Right.
And then he didn't hit the button.
Well, he's mercy.
Yeah, exactly.
He's probably doing some
He's trying to knock him out early.
Right.
Well, listen, we're glad to have you here. We are committed to do one thing week after week, and that's to help your business grow. Now, you could be stuck. We're trying to get you unstuck. Maybe you're stuck, stagnant, or stalled, as I like to say. Stuck, stuck, stalled, or stagnant.
There you go.
Maybe your business becomes stuck, stalled, or stagnant. Yeah, say that fast 3 times. Maybe you're looking for a jump start, a restart, or you're trying to continue that momentum. I got them all today. I got them all today. Maybe you're looking for different ways to grow your business or regrow, get it growing again. As Peter Drucker says, we have to be prepared to unlearn, learn, and relearn in order to survive in the future. So this is our contribution to that. We come to you every week trying to give you some insights, not here to be your gurus, but we're here to share some things that we're observing in the marketplace. After all, we've been doing this for just a little while. Just a little while. We've seen some few things. We've got another great show for you today. At least I think so. We appreciate your viewership. We've got some good reviews continuing to come in. People seem to like us, Lon. I don't know.
Yay.
Yeah, right? he did a self. That does not count, William, because Lon did it himself. So you cannot count that. But we've got another great show. As usual, we're back to my favorite format, which is not telling Lon what we're talking about so he can't be completely prepared, which I think just creates more of an organic conversation, don't you?
Well, I think it's fun.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
Exactly. He tries to get a little peeky poo, but I had the laptop down, everything down, so he couldn't even do like a cut in. I think I want to start doing some misdirection.
Okay.
Like I'm going to leave it out with all the wrong information on it. And like maybe you're getting your thoughts together and like your points you want to make together. And I come with a completely different thing. And you're like, man, I had some good points already. He got me.
I was ready.
Yeah.
Right.
Got to come up with some good pranks for Lon. Well, today we are talking about something very important. And I think it's important because we have a lot of people in a lot of different stages kind of in their business. A lot of people thinking about what's next, thinking about what the future looks like, trying to embrace new technology or not.
Right.
Put their head, boop, right in the sand.
Right, exactly.
So I want to talk about today why your old policies might be killing your business. Why some of the policies and procedures. Now, I wrote old policies. Okay. I want to amend that.
Okay.
Stupid policies.
Okay.
Because there are some policies that were put in place forever ago that are not modernized or not. People just aren't thinking through stuff.
Okay, that's true.
Now, I have a great amount of sympathy, a great amount of empathy for business owners. I am one of them. I understand the trials and tribulations. I understand having to wear a lot of hats, as they like to say. But there are some practical expectations that I think we need to have when we think about how we approach policies, and also more importantly, the critical thinking skills that your employees and team members need to have. Okay. Now, why this is interesting to me is because I had a bad experience.
Imagine that.
I had a bad experience recently, and it got me thinking. Sure. Wow, what a stupid policy. We went to a restaurant.
Okay.
And, I don't know what's worse. Have you ever, you're laughing already, but I haven't even said anything. I love when people do that. But for those of you watching us on YouTube,
because the answer is most likely.
You get to see it. But you've had like a taste for something, right? I mean, we've all had that, right? You're like a taste. Maybe you wake up or later today, you're like, oh man, I really have a taste for a great steak or cheesesteak or whatever. So in this particular moment, I like hibachi.
Okay.
Now, really, my favorite hibachi place is a location called Benihana. Okay. But we don't have one in our immediate area. You got to go to Northern Virginia to get close to Benihana. So there are what I call Benihana-esque people that try to have, they try to make the ginger sauce the same way. They try to, and I mean, obviously Benihana doesn't own hibachi. They didn't invent hibachi. But I just like that everything. I like their food, start to finish. So we've got the imposter Benihana here. I'm not going to say their name, but I said, you know what? I have a taste for hibachi. Okay. Turn to my wife. She said, oh, great. Sounds good. Go to the hibachi place. Now, for those of you that have hibachi, if you don't have kids or you're not going for a date, or trying to do some have fun with food, for most of us, many times, if you don't fall in those categories, you just want the hibachi. Right. Now, most of them have shows, right? The guy's the chef, and he's catching stuff in the hat and throwing food in your mouth and all these things, none of which I partake in. But I just want to get to the food. I just want to have the food. So we go into the restaurant and we're like, oh, we want hibachi, but we'd like to sit. So they have an area in the front, which is like seating, not related to the table. It's like lounge seat, open seat. I don't know how to say it, but like a traditional restaurant seating, booths and tables. Right. And then in the hibachi place, you'll go sit around the big table with the show and they cook. So I didn't want to do that. So I said, I want to go we just want to sit and eat.
Okay.
Oh, no, sir. That is just for people having sushi. Now, mind you, there's 4 people in there.
Right.
So we're not talking about overrun, no seating. We're crushed.
You're not putting them out.
Right. Now, mind you, also, we have sat in that section before and had hibachi. Right. So somebody changed his policy somewhere along the way.
Okay.
So no, that's just for sushi. Okay. So now I'm having a conversation with the maitre d', if we even call him that, in the hibachi place, the hibachi cedar personer.
Right.
Okay. So I said, all right. So you mean tell me we have to go sit down? He says, yeah. I said, all right. Okay. But now I got to wait. Because the way those work is they have to wait till they fill the tables up.
Right.
So I've got to wait and hope more people come through the door to then create a table. So I don't know how long I could be waiting there to get hibachi.
Sure.
So of course my answer was, that's just dumb. Yeah, he was waiting on that one.
He nailed that one.
But my answer was sayonara.
Right.
Yeah, hibachi, right? Sayonara.
Right.
My sayonara, adios, arrivederci, ciao bella. It was all of those things.
Right.
And we left. And we went and gave somebody else our business.
Right.
And that's an example. That's what fueled the show. Now we've got our usual 3, 4, 5 tips that we want to talk about. But that is so stupid.
Yeah, that's
to lose. Now, you've been to hibachi before. Mm-hmm. That's not exactly a number 1 at McDonald's.
Right.
Because that's like $10 now. But so you're talking about a fair ticket. Right. You know, hibachi, $60, $70. That's a premium meal, like just in terms of. So they walked that business. And what I don't understand, I can't imagine, and maybe I could be wrong, I can't imagine if the owner was there, that he would have walked $80 worth of business over seating.
Right.
Now, I don't know. There might be some other logistics. Who's going to cook the food? I don't know. But I know that when I go to Benihana, I sit in the tables and chair section without having to go there.
Right.
No problem. Nobody says anything dumb to me.
Right.
So I just think that's a reason. So now I'm also never going back there again. Right. And I'm not saying that to be mean or jerk customer, but like, I don't need this. Right. You know what I mean? Go ahead. I've been talking.
Well, first of all, it's incredibly frustrating because you wanted to go there.
Yes.
I wanted to eat there. Yes. You wanted to invest in their business to keep them up and running.
Not my first choice, but I wanted hibachi.
But you wanted hibachi, and that was the best choice that you had available without having to travel 2 hours to get it.
Yes, correct.
So you went there, and you went with hope and optimism.
Yes,
for a good experience. You were hungry.
Paint that picture, Lon.
You wanted to have some
optimism,
and you wanted to have some good Japanese food in your belly when you left.
Yep.
And all you asked for was, hey, I don't, can I sit at the table because I don't want to wait and I don't want to deal with that stuff.
Where I've sat before.
What I've done before, right. And they said, you can't do it, which inspired this policy conversation that we're about to have. But what it did was not only did it create a bad taste in your mouth, which you went to get a good taste in your mouth, it created an experience that you lost confidence in that restaurant.
Yep.
And you will not go back to that restaurant. Right. Because the last thing that you remember was the bad taste that a restaurant left in your mouth. And it wasn't even related to the food, which is the worst part.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, good luck. I mean, they don't ever look crazy busy.
Right.
So, but this is what I'm talking about from a business perspective. They will sit around and go, oh, business is off, or it's not like it used to be, or whatever. And they'll wonder why. And they will blame all the wrong things.
Correct. Yeah.
The economy. Let me tell you something. I was at a mall the other day.
Okay.
Don't tell me about the economy.
Right.
That mall was buzzing and brimming and it was full to the gills.
Yes.
So they're going to say it's the economy. They're going to say it's competition. Oh, well, there's more competition in the area. And all that may be true.
Right.
But yeah, you don't want to update a doorknob. You don't want to change a doorknob. You don't want to change a light bulb in your place.
Right.
And new shiny objects come in the area. Yeah, they're going to eat your lunch.
Right.
But it's moments like that where you're losing customers and you don't even know about it that way.
Right.
When the church say amen. this is when I'm glad I have a podcast that I can just get these things. Because, it's not as fun just ranting to your spouse, right? I want to rant to tens of thousands of people. But I'm not, I'm not saying any business's name. I'm not trying to wreck anybody's business. They're doing a great job at that themselves.
Right.
So I don't have to get involved. So what are some things? So, all right. I want to talk about these policies. So there's a couple things that I wrote down. Competitive edge, loss of competitive edge.
Yes.
So you might have been A1. I see this now with a lot of service-based companies.
Okay.
A lot of companies, because you've got franchises coming to market, people who figured out how to do it faster, cleaner, simpler, modernized technology. Right. I'm seeing that right now in like the painting world.
Oh yeah.
We've got some people in our area that really have just, they're SMS, they're using text messaging, they're using proposals. It's not some guy, giving you an eyeball on it.
Right.
I had a guy the other day. They've got technology now where they just take this little glass thing and put it up to your wall, and it tells them the color. It tells them the color you have. It tells them the type of paint it is. Right. It will give you a virtual rendition of a certain color on your wall. Oh, like wow. We're way away from Earl eyeballing it. Coming out with the paint meter and the yardstick. Right. They just take pictures and the thing tells you. It's so interesting. But from a customer center, when we were meeting a guy at the house, and he sent me the app that tracked his location. Okay. So I knew, because we had to leave the office and go to the house. And so I knew where he was so I could time it. When you have these windows, like, 2-hour window, you just don't know. Like, so much time gets wasted. Like, should I be there? Should I not be there? So, like, I literally, when he left his office, I could see him so I could match it. Right. So I wasn't wasting time. I was efficient. Like, these things matter to people. Yeah. So this competitive edge that you used to have, staying current right now is not just an option, it's a necessity. Right. And, these old policies may not take into account newer technologies. I know people that they were restricting social media, from their staff and from their team. Like, I don't want you on that stuff. Right. Well, now I do. I want you building a brand. I want you building a brand for people to come do business with me. Right. What do you think about that aspect? Competitive edge, the loss of competitive edge.
Well, what happens is when you have a competitive edge, your competitors get better to catch you. And if you don't stay, when I was in my 20s and I was in college, I had a workout partner, and he was about 5 pounds heavier than me and about 5% stronger than me. And we worked out 6 days a week. We were athletes and worked out a lot.
All right, LG.
And I was
LG, what sport did you play?
I played baseball and basketball.
Oh, okay. All right. Baseball, but don't know who won the World Series last year. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Fair enough. Exactly. Well, I know
you're going to catch some straight bullets. Welcome back.
I know it wasn't my team, so that's what I do know.
Okay. There you go.
But my point being is that he was always about 5 to 8% stronger than me in everything we did. So I'm always, as I get better, I'm pushing him to get better, which means I'm chasing him, right? Right. Same thing when you're looking at competition. If you're better than your competition, they're going to push to get closer to you. And if you don't continue to improve and develop, they're going to catch you. And when they do, we're going to start to run into some of the things that you're talking about.
And it's too late.
And at that point, you've already lost, you've been left with a bad taste in your mouth. And now you've got to go somewhere else and find a new vendor, a new business, somebody to do what you need to do.
And what kills me, particularly now, we talk about small business, but like particularly in larger mid-level larger businesses, what kills me is there is always a story where this could have been avoided.
Correct.
There's a music store that's just going out. Sam Ash, I think it is.
Oh yeah.
They're closing, and we were in that store. I don't know, 6 months ago. I think these stands. I think we bought these stands. We went there, and I remember going in there. Willie H, were you with me? Okay. And I remember going in there and looking around, going, "What is going on here? This place looks like a tomb. Yeah, it looks dead. It looks like nobody gives a darn." Right. And the guy was checking me out, and I'm like, "What is that? A Tandy?"
No, you didn't.
Now, no millennial listeners potentially know what I just said.
That's a reference to a radio.
But my people that have been around, what you know, LG? Well, who carried Tandy?
Well, I just jumped Willie H's route. So that's a reference in a previous episode to the Radio Shack down the street that closed.
Yeah. Because I'm like, what is this?
Right.
Now, listen, maybe the writing was on the wall already or whatever, but there's I think if you go back in history and you look at these companies that have gone in trouble, that are in trouble, like a JCPenney's that's trying to figure it out, or people who gone, like Sears.
Right.
Like Sears had that thing on lock.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
They sold everything.
Right.
You wanted to drill something, buy a TV. You wanted to finance a TV for 9 years.
Yeah.
At Sears and pay $5,000 for the $1,000 TV. Like they had all the options. Right. But I think you source that back to they could have avoided this.
Yes.
So I think that not recognizing that, thinking you're going to get to it later. We've talked about this before. I mean, there's a redundancy sometimes in things we're talking about, because I'm hoping that this is the time, whether this is your first episode and it's new, this conversation is new to you, or you're back from you're an OG, back from episode 1, where we continue to talk about some of these things, because the redundancy is what is necessary, right?
Right.
It's where are the life vests in a plane?
Right.
You're supposed to, right? They tell us this every single time. Right. So if we ever have to do it, no one's going, where are they again?
Right. Exactly.
Man, you're a million miles. You've flown a million miles. You absolutely know where it is. So I'm secretly using that same level of redundancy here.
Right. Well, and I call it consistency, right? Consistency. Yeah. The more that we say it,
yes,
the more credible we become. And there's the threat of consistency, the threat of redundancy. Because the things that we say the most are the things that are the most important.
I am mad that I didn't get that hibachi though. I had a great dinner elsewhere, but now I'm left feeling lost.
Well, and now you have to make a decision, right? Am I willing to try again with the potential to be disappointed
I'm
again?
looking at my travel schedule and I'm trying to match that. It was out of town and complete true story is we were like flying in where we were in St. Louis. I said to my wife, look up and see if there's a Benihana.
Right.
They didn't have any there. Right. And I'm like, look, so wherever I'm going, we've got some speaking engagements and some things going on over the next several months. So I'm like, look that up. See if we can dip in
100%
and get me a Rocky's Choice. All right, number 2. Let's talk about number 2. I don't know. We're almost out of time. No, not really. But so number 2 is having stupid policies / old policies also creates a decreased employee morale and productivity.
Yes.
Depressed systems, depressed policies, stupid policies create an environment where people want to be or become disengaged.
Right.
Because they know it's like, I wonder if that guy knew what he was saying was stupid. Right? Because we've all heard somebody go, oh, sorry, sir, that's just our policy.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So we've got that factor, because if your policies aren't evolving over time, that creates frustration with employees. Right. Work hours are a big thing. That's always controversial. People are talking about the 4-day work week, this, that. I come from the auto industry.
Right.
Saturday off. What?
Right.
Like you couldn't even suggest that idea.
Right.
That, like that's like termination.
Right.
Where now people are in some ways starting to rethink this, and we're seeing, we're seeing people do kind of like the one schedule I always thought was crazy is the schedule like medical professionals work.
Right. Like
the 3 on, 3 off.
Right. 3 on, 12 hours.
Yeah, that's like,
right.
I think that's crazy. But they're experimenting with that. A lot of car dealers are starting to experiment with that and giving people multiple days off.
Right.
But having them work what we would call in the industry a bell to bell. That's
open to close.
Yeah. So you do 3 bell to bells and then you're off for 2 days or that kind of thing. But you've got things like work hours. You got things like IT related things, technology.
Right.
Because when I said that guy, I'm like, what is this computer? He's like, yeah, I know. So how excited is he? Right? Now you've got people that are acknowledging the customers that their stuff sucks.
Right. Well, and it's so when you're in it and you see it and you have to deal with it, it's frustrating as an employee. it's harder to attract top talent too. It's harder to attract people
Right.
if you look like you're not going to be in business very long.
Right.
And if you've got really old equipment, if you don't take care of your place, well, you know, that's not important. Well, yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and those are the decisions that you have to make. What are you doing to attract and retain people
Right.
as clients and as well as employees?
So, you know, the question begs, what policies do you have right now? I mean, here's the challenge, right?
Right.
What are the questions or what are the policies that you have right now that could be falling into this bucket, that could be affecting your employees, that could be making you less efficient versus competitors?
Right.
You know?
Right. Well, and here's a question, since we're in the policy piece.
Mm-hmm.
Are you making policies? Are you choosing policies over people?
Yeah.
And which is what that person did at the Japanese or the hibachi restaurant that you went to. They said, well, you know, this is our policy.
Right.
So we're going to choose that over people, over the people who will pay
He
for
could
us.
have even, now that I'm thinking about it,
Right.
because I'm salty,
Now you're solving his problem. Right.
he could have offered me to go.
Right.
Like, you know what? We could do it to go. We get something to do my business. But because that person at the front was not financially invested, see, he was getting paid anyway. This is why it's dangerous, particularly if you become an absentee owner. Now, I understand. I mean, I can't expect the owner to be at every station in his business 24 hours a day. I mean, that's not generally why we try to do this. It's supposed to be freedom and all this other things they tell us in entrepreneurship.
Right.
Supposed to have freedom
Good
to
luck with that.
go where I want, do what I want to do when I want to do it. Lies. But that person didn't care. He got paid the same if he sat us, if we stayed, if we left, if we bought, if we didn't buy. It didn't matter.
Well, and the next question becomes, did that person who make that decision even have a discussion afterwards and say, hey, here's the decision that I made?
Do we have something? Is there a button there that would be applicable? That's just dumb.
Right.
I mean, no.
Because that's how you adjust that policy, right?
Right. I mean, you think that guy ain't thinking about us.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No.
He probably said, good, one less thing I have to deal with.
That's right. Let's clean up after him.
Right. And I only wonder, because this is when I get into like, should I send a note mode?
Right.
Should I? Because, you know, people only complain when they have a problem, typically. So it's always tough to get reviewed. Like, it's tough a lot of times to get positive reviews if you aren't really going after them.
Right.
Because most people are like, okay, great, I'm satisfied, everything was fine. They're not inclined to say anything.
Right.
But, you know, the you know, something goes wrong. Those are the people that want to be heard because they want to I'm going to ruin your business.
Right.
Because you took an extra 10 minutes to seat me.
Right.
Right. So
right.
I don't know, maybe. But then maybe the owner is just like, that's our policy.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you know what they've gotten? They've gotten a lot of your energy.
Yeah.
I'm
doing a whole, but see, so the good news is,
right,
just like observational comedy,
right?
Like a Seinfeld or Chris Rock or people who draw their comedy from real life situations that occur. This is one of those things. It really drives the topic. I mean, that just plays to the authenticity, I think, of what we're doing here
100%.
And what we're talking about. Because these are the realities and the decisions that business owners are making every day here.
100%.
You know? So, all right, 3. So let's talk about something less sexy.
Okay.
When it comes to this.
All right.
Compliance risks.
Okay.
Exposure.
Right.
Now you've got lawsuits for different things right now.
Right.
There's a big information guy in the industry that's been out touting. Now I think he's selling some kind of course to correspond with this.
Correct.
But
he's selling solutions.
His battle cry is pointing out the FTC and the Federal Trade Commission and how they're cracking down on advertising for services and outcomes, and you know, you're going to double your business or your money back or these kinds of things. And so his premise, he's drawing on his own experience of how he was embroiled in lawsuits for recently or serious years over claims that they were making that they didn't know were necessarily out of compliance. So of course he's got a solution that whatever he's selling helps you, you know, whatever, vet your content or whatever it is to stay compliant. Because that is another area. If you've got policies that aren't reflective
Yeah.
of that.
Correct.
You've got people, you've got attorneys that are going after people for not retrofitting their, buildings like they should, or not updating things, or those kinds of things. When you think about like Americans with Disability Act, things like that.
Right.
So compliance is another one of those areas. So if you're not up on laws or regulations, there could be exposure that you have. We just renewed one of our policies for one of our businesses, and our company has now, we've added a cyber policy to that.
Okay.
So if we're hacked or things happen there, we're trying to protect ourselves from that. I go to so many websites and there's no disclaimer, you've got to have policies and how you collect information, your disclaimers and your policies and procedures. That's legal exposure. And I see people that I know have good businesses not have that stuff. And nobody thinks about that stuff until it's too late. Yeah, and that, especially in technology, that's a moving target, right? Yeah. It continues to evolve. So that's something that you've got to stay up. You've got to stay up on, or have somebody in your business continue to stay up on that, so that you are current with the policies. The ADA is a big one, right? I mean, there's things, if you don't create an opportunity for people to have access to your business, especially if you've got brick and mortar, it becomes very, very important. So whether it's you or whether it's somebody in your business that's assigned to it, or whether you hire somebody as a contractor that comes in and do regular assessments, that's a big deal, making sure that you have somebody looking at the things that you need to be compliant at. Right. Absolutely. Professionals hire professionals. 100%. I mean, I've worked in healthcare for a long time, and whether it's a hospital or a surgery center, they have an accreditation organization come in every couple of years to make sure that they stay compliant with the HIPAA laws and all the other things that are going on. Yeah. So businesses need to do the same thing. And knowing what some of the drivers of how people make decisions or what they look at, like we've been with the same veterinarian for, 10, 12 years. Okay. But one of the reasons we picked them is because they were AHA certified, which is like a whole nother certifying body of how they vet people out. Okay. Right. So, sure. And I say that really from the standpoint that people are making decisions based on other information. So if you've been ignoring participating, say, oh, Cory, I don't need that, or I don't need this, or I don't need to do that. There's an opportunity there. Right. And sometimes you do things for strategic positioning. Correct. What are we going to say? Well, and the AHA, the veterinarian, is a perfect example. In order to get certain accreditations, you have to get CMEs or CEUs or whatever you want to call them, continuing education credits to maintain that. And those are annual. Yeah. And that's important. That's when you say professionals hire professionals. All right. So I want to go to the next one. Yeah. And I mean, these kind of blend together at the end of the day, right? Right. Inefficient processes. Okay. As part of your policies, right? So we looked at this from a compliance standpoint. We looked at this from reducing morale, losing competitive edge. So now the next one is, outdated policies often translate to outdated processes. Yes. Right? So could the things that you're doing now be slowing down operations, wasting resources, increasing costs? Right. We're talking about restaurants, and it makes me think of, and I've made this comment often, because, I'm an observer. Right. I made this comment that, you sit down in a restaurant, they bring you water. Right. They'll just drop water on the table. They don't ask you if you want water. Right. Or they'll bring you like lemons. Right. And I just sit around because my business head just goes, I wonder how much money they spend in lemons. Okay. Particularly for people who didn't ask for them. Right. Because you can't just recycle listen, I didn't want to think about that. Like the lemons are sitting on the desk for 2 hours, somebody's eating, and they take them back because they didn't use them and recycle them back through the barrel. Right. Hold on, Buckaroo. Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to think about that. But I understand lemons are inexpensive in the grand scheme of things. Right. But if you're turning 100 customers at volume, there's a lot of lemons. Right. The water bill, that's a real thing. That is a real thing. You're cranking water out to people who didn't even ask for it. Right. I just think about little things like that because I think dollar for dollar that adds up.
Right.
You know, would you like water? Because you could switch that just by saying something as simple as, would you like water?
Right.
No. Okay, great. I just saved. Right? Would you like lemons? No. Right. I just saved a lemon.
Right.
Lemons matter. I saved a lemon's life.
You saved a lemon's life. Here's the other thing, too, if you want to take it to its logical extension, is when people drink, they become satiated, whatever the word is, so that they're not as hungry.
Yeah.
So when they're drinking water,
you diabolical son of a gun, I hadn't even thought about that.
They're not as hungry. So when it comes time to order, maybe they don't order that appetizer because they've been, they've been drinking water.
Aha. I think you've got a breakthrough. New course coming soon. How to
add one more
increase your
appetizer.
ticket. Yeah. How to increase your per ticket by putting your customers in a drought. Don't even ask them for anything to drink unless they make them beg you.
Make them ask twice.
For a beverage. Yeah.
Make them ask twice.
Yeah, you come to the table, hey, how you folks doing? You know what you want to order? If they don't talk about drinks, don't you bring those drinks first.
Well, you get the alcohol, you sell the margaritas so they're salty so that they want to eat something.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's all diabolical, folks. And don't forget the MSG.
It's all scientific. Right. It's all scientific.
All right, let's get to the last one. All right, the last one here. Okay, so we agree. Inefficient, and this is big for manual processes, people that are on spreadsheets that won't go to, I understand people want to, maybe they want to protect their jobs or whatever, but, come on.
Right.
Sooner or later, these things, I mean, as people are getting leaner, as people are offshoring or nearshoring and all these different versions for not having direct employees,
right.
You got to recreate the value proposition. I know you don't want to go to that new CRM system because you've had your system,
right?
The old Rolodex,
right?
Yeah. All right. Go ahead. Were you going to say something?
I was going to say, big changes like that to when you make big changes like that, you're going to get pushback because people are resistant to those types of changes.
Yeah.
Create an environment where they have the ability to embrace that change so that they've got time to get comfortable with, they've got time to get used, and just talk to them about the impact of it. Say, look, this makes us more effective. We can get busier, makes it easier for you long-term. Give them some reasons to want to get involved with that. One of the challenges that we do, though, and I talk about this a lot, is we try and make too many changes at one time as a business owner. And so we change policies and products at the same time. So we're changing policies. We want people to act different and we want them to do things differently.
Right.
Give them a chance to embrace those changes so that those changes can be effective and you're going to get less resistance to it.
I like it. I think, William, that deserves something right there. Voice of reason. Yeah. See, I told you, got to stay on them.
Right. Exactly.
Got to stay on them. All right, let's get to number 5 before we get out of here.
Sure.
How fitting. Your stupid policies could be contributing to poor customer engagement.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Now, there's a lot of ways to look at this. It could be pissing somebody off at the hibachi.
Right.
Just saying. Right. That's one option. Right. But we could also look at the impact on delivering customer service, right? And that could be something like a return policy, right? It used to be, your return policy might have been stricter 15 years ago, right? But now you've got people that let you return. It was the outlier. Oh, Nordstrom's, you can return anything. We tell the stories about guy returning tires or all these things. But now, these companies have, it's much more, Amazon, go to a locker, pretty soon, you could just throw your return in the middle of the street and Amazon will just come sweep it up because you can go. I could drop it off at Whole Foods. I could drop it off at the gas station. Right. They're making it, go to this locker around the corner at your gym, return some at the gym.
Right.
So imagine being a business that's like, we need the full receipt. It has to be within 5 business days.
Right.
Full receipt, never been worn, tags all still on. You got to think about that. And I know a lot of the luxury brands have been real stuck up in that era. And I know you're dealing with classic things like we all know somebody who, bought that dress,
right?
wore the hell out of it,
Right. Wore to that party, but the tags were tucked underneath.
Yeah. We all know somebody. Now, I thankfully have never done that. I've never been in a dress, but I've never done that either.
Right.
But we all know somebody who's done that.
100%.
So I understand you have to deal with that stuff, but frankly, that's built into the margin. That 300% markup you have on cost of goods is designed for that. So this is another area where you may have some policies and procedures, as that in that example of return policies, where your competitors are blowing you away with how they're engaging with customers.
Well, there's a couple of things that go into that. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into that, but there's a couple of things that I think of right off the top of my head. One is, do you have the technology that allows them to buy things from you that they don't need to keep the receipt because you have their information?
Yeah.
There's the registers, the machines, the electronic devices that you ring them up on, that has their information.
You know who didn't have that? Bed Bath and Begone.
That's good. I like that. But so one, you reduce the need for the receipt. Right, exactly.
And I would go in there, I would go, who is still doing this? Using price guns.
Correct. Yes.
And of course, what do you know? You trashed a 50-year-old business.
Right.
I mean, that's such a great example.
It is.
What am I going to do with all those coupons in my drawer now? I can't even use all the 20% off coupons anymore.
Right. Well, they're all expired.
But that didn't even matter. Oh, I don't care. Come on, give them to me, honey. We don't care. We just print them things anyway. Why'd you bother to put expiration dates on them?
Exactly.
But now, I mean, when you do the autopsies, when you when the business schools that all create these as business cases for use in education, it's what went wrong.
Right.
It was stupid policies, not innovating, not updating your technology, thinking you've got it on lock, thinking that that you can't lose. People love your brand until they don't.
Right.
Just ask Pier 1.
Well, there's another one, right?
And all these brands. Now, a lot of these brands have lived on online, but through fire sales, right?
Well, and because somebody bought them and said, I can do it better.
Correct. Like Bed Bath & Beyond still has a great name.
Correct.
Many people don't know.
Right.
I just rewatched a movie. Have you ever seen the movie Distinguished Gentleman?
Is that the Eddie Murphy movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where he was Jeff Johnson and he got elected completely on name recognition. Yes. That's what nobody knows that Congressman dead. It's Jeff Johnson. My name's Thomas Jefferson Johnson. Shorten the Tom, give it to Jeff Johnson. Nobody else.
There you go.
And now he wins, which I believe can happen and maybe had to happen in modern day politics. So, there you have it. Well, that's it.
Well, and to your point, though,
we're out of here. Play the music. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, this last piece is policies that impact customer engagement.
Yes.
And you use the return example, so I'll extend that. When you have that point of opportunity to make that decision, think about the cost of taking it back versus the cost of losing that client or that customer.
Yeah.
Is it going to cost you more for that customer not to come back than it is to take it back?
Right. Right. All right. There it is. Quit it. I had a buddy of mine, Mark Tewart, he used to have a show, and one of the segments on this show was Stop It.
Right. That's good.
And he'd just tell you what it was like. Just stop it.
Right. Yeah.
Stop doing this. Stop it. Look at some of these policies and some of these engagements. People want to be right so much, they forget they have a business. Customers encounter, you don't like it, get out.
Right.
No.
Right. I
read these Yelp reviews. Well, I'll read the comment where customers expressing their issue, and the owner's like, "You're wrong. Nothing wrong with my chicken.
Right.
People say my chicken's the greatest chicken to ever chicken." I don't know.
Well, the question at that point becomes: do you want to be right or do you want to get it right?
Yeah.
And sometimes, in order to get it right, you have to give up your need to be right.
Right. There. Oh, look at that. Voice of reason. Yeah. Well, he needs another one. We need the church. Yeah. Woo. Yeah. When the church say amen. All right. That's it. I'm done with this. I think the message is clear before we get out of here.
Yes.
We always end with a thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you to our listeners. Thank you to our viewers. If you're streaming this, YouTube and these other areas, if you're listening audio, getting your workout on, remember, couple more pumps.
That's right.
Get it done. Never give up. We appreciate your listenership. We appreciate your viewership. We appreciate you coming back every week. And if you know business owners, people that you want to see get better that can be impacted by this, we encourage you to share this with them. Give us your feedback. We take questions. Lon loves it when people come up to him in the middle of the street. Maybe he's at a restaurant mid-chew. He loves when people come over and say, LG007. And like, he loves it. Maybe he's golfing and he's getting ready to swing. If you see LG007 at the golf course and he's mid getting ready to swing, yell out, LG007. He loves it. All right. Any last words before we get out of here?
Thanks for coming and thanks for coming back.
That's right. Willie H., take us out. This has been the Grow Business Podcast. I'm Cory Mosley. Lon and I will see you next week. Yeah. There you go.
There we go. That's good.
Stop it. That's the easiest way. Quit it. Stop
Indeed.
it. Don't do it anymore.
Indeed. Yeah.
Indeed.
So now, which restaurant?
We're not all there yet.
The one over by the Ethan Allen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I just sent people where to go, man.